Welcome back to Vampire Masquerade, The Shadows of New York, and we're playing Julia, the La Sombra. Let's see what she's up to this night. Welcome back, I'm King Priam by night, and we're playing Vampire Masquerade, Shadows of New York, and Julia. She's on her first night, and we can act on our own accord and make a few choices. Let's see what we got. So, the risk of swiping right. This Tinder addict smells like A bit of a loser, B, a wannabe intellectual, and C, a perfect source of nourishment. We also got Dance Macabre, time to swing a little more on the devil's dance floor, the club beacons. And lastly we got Retributive Justice, a meathead bullying his unfortunate victim. I probably shouldn't interfere, but what better chance could I find to test what I've become? So I actually think why not see what we become and see what kind of powers we got, if we're gonna see her disciplines or not. Let's go. Two men are facing each other in a dark back alley. One of them stands with his back against the wall, his chest heaving as he's struggling to catch his breath. People, anybody out there? I'm being robbed! A brawny, rugged guy is yelling at metal staircases with a theatrical incredulity in his voice. With a liveless step, he dances around on an older man who's having trouble finding his footing. What is this bullshit? Oh, so now you can talk. Good, because I'm dying to hear what you did with my wallet, Holmes. Wallet? I have no idea what you're talking about. The goon starts prancing around like a Muay boxer. He's smiling, but his eyes sense a clear message. You're cornered, buddy. Don't even try to pull a fast one on me. Come on, homeboy. You might be able to trick an average Joe on the street with your act, but a fighter recognizes a fighter. It's like an animal thing. It's an instinct thing. You got some moves on you. You're like shit. You're like a black mamba, lightning fast reflexes. He starts shadowboxing for a moment. The man's definitely got energy to spare. However, I'm like a king cobra. You met your match. Two apex predators, now locked in battle. Was already seeing Snake, that would explain something. Before he's able to finish, a sunken punch knocks the air right off his lungs. The old man slides down the wall. Before he can let out a groan, he's interrupted by a brutal kick to the chest. That's what I'm talking about, a fighting spirit, even when you're cornered. Ugh! Take a seat, deep breath, collect your thoughts before you're speaking up again. Remember when you put my wallet now? I am pretty sure you broke my rib. An eye for an eye, a rib for a ribbing. Biblical punishment. It's only fair, homing. Fair? At least admit it, that this is a mugging. Wallet. My ass. Still in denial. Okay, let's see. I have about 5,000 bucks in there. Give me 6 grand, I'll let you walk away. Relatively unharmed. So you admit it. Admit what? That this is not about proper compensation. This is a robbery. Look, buddy, this is beginning to bore me. Unless you want me to go all Anderson Silva on your ass, give me what you want. Anderson Silva? Yeah, Anderson Silva. Flying knee meeting your solar plexus. The man, the myth, the legend. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Thai boxing, Western boxing, Taekwondo, Wing Chun, Capoeira combined into a single fighting style that can be only described as straight-up murder. I've been studying the glorious singularity that is Anderson Silva for years. Every move I have, I owe to him. So if you don't want this snake to turn into a deadly spider, show me the money, honey. Summer 2013. Las Vegas. Watched it live on pay-per-view. Weidman saw through all of Sylvia's tricks, whooped his ass, broke his spirit, showed him for a fraud he is. The man hasn't been the same ever since. All that attempt at showboating, hollow taunting, drunk on his own Kool-Aid. Jesus, of course you idolize him, asshole. For a good minute, the goon silently looked down at the whimpering man at his feet, chewing his lower lip. When he finally speaks up, his voice betrays an intent to kill. You know what, homeboy? Screw the money. This is a matter of honor now. My thoughts, exactly. He raises his fist. We got ourselves a mixed martial arts expert here. For your own sake, I hope you can back that talk with some self-defense skill, homie. That's where Julia intercepts. So take a chill pill. This is pathetic. That's enough. Actually, I think we go, that's enough. That's probably a good response. And not see the man beating up the poor older dude. Wow, she actually looks really cool now with the cross, the outfit, the hair, and the earrings. Yeah, I like the new Julia. She looks good. That's enough. He jumps at the sound of my voice, turning my way in the blink of an eye, immediately assuming a combat stance. His reflexes are sharp, so looks like he at least this much to back up his bravado. Wannabe Anderson Silva face betrays utter confusion upon seeing me. He got no idea how I managed to sneak up on him. I don't blame him. I wouldn't have been able to explain it myself. It feels like I become one of it with the darkness, my pure consciousness traversing a dusky dreamscape, jumping from one shadow to another as if they were different train of thoughts. I think of some experience I had with psychedelics. Every blink an adventure. I was outside of this alley, blink. I was above the alley, blink. Now I'm in front of this guy. And he pisses me off. The older man slumps down. Looks like he was trying his best to keep it together and gave up once the cavalry arrived. The goon regains his composure and barks at me in an overly gruff way. The hell you sneak around here for, chica? Move along, this is between men. Not anymore. His fist turns towards me. I'm serious, and an equal opportunity ass kicker. I respond to the threat with the brightest, most innocent, virginal smile I can put on. So you're into shadowboxing, huh? Something comes over me. I can feel the darkness embracing me, whispering sweet nothings in my ear, pumping me up for what's to come. And what's to come? Let's see. So we'll do a low spinning kick. The Karate Kid crane kick. I think that's called the karate one. And reverse elbow. Yeah, let's sweep him off his leg. That's a pretty cool move. I've always wanted to try this. I zoom in, duck below his fist, and sweep him off his feet with a powerful roundhouse kick. It's probably the dumbest, flashy thing I could have done, but I feel more confident than ever. He flies into the air, only managing not to fall because of the wall behind him. I know what's he's thinking. I should have blocked it. He's absolutely should have. But instead, he's just flailed his arm helplessly, as if he suddenly finds himself in front of an oncoming train. A primal expression of fear that suddenly and completely takes him over. I don't know how I look right now, but judging by his expression, my best guess is like the gaping maw of some primordial beast. I follow up the surprise attack with another punch to the solar plexus, or at least my nearest estimate. Once again, the effect terrifies even myself. Looks like my hunch was correct. I hit the right spot. He falls to the floor, whining like a wounded animal, tears streaming down his face. I let him collect himself a bit and then grab him by his chin. Learn to choose your battles, homeboy. Let me go. Let me, for Christ's sake, just let me go. I kick him in the direction of the alley entrance. He staggers off, quickly disappearing from my sight. I check on his victim. Looks like he's conscious. Wow, you whooped his ass, girl. But hasn't noticed anything out of order. Good, I was getting worried I might have overdone it a bit. That woman did say that keeping a low profile would be crucial if I want to survive. You alright? Need help? He managed to stand up. His smile is strained, but it suggests he's fine, or at least trying his best to seem fine. No, you gave me all the help I need, and then some. Thank you, miss. What's your name? Jessica. So we're lying now, Jessica? Thanks, Jessica. I was worried for a second, but this asshole's barks was worse than his bite. He's probably in worse shape than me now. I guess that counts as a victory. I'd better be going. My wife is probably worried sick. But before that, if there's anything I could do to repay you. What can you do to repay me? Wallet? No, I'm not a robber, even though we're out of work, but we're a vampire, so pluses and minuses. Where to celebrate? Just be more careful. Yeah, let's go with this one. Forget about it, just being a little more careful in the future, alright? A true heroine always refuses compensation for her help. At least that's how I think things should go. Never thought I'd help someone in a street fight. You're something else, Jessica. You never wanted to try your skills in the octagon? Too much love with my gorgeous face to see it bruised, battered and swollen. Sorry. I hear you. Whatever you do next, God bless you. And there he goes. God, feels like one. I feel like one right now. Yes, I can imagine that with potence. Supernatural strength, yeah, it's pretty cool. No more worrying about being out after midnight. No more feeling uneasy whenever I spot a shade asshole across the street, ever. Hell, I could start jogging in Central Park after midnight now. Not that I need to. The future's looking bright. So that's our first encounter, and if it's like cottery, it should be 2 each night we can do. So let's see which one of these we should go for. Yeah, let's do the Danse Macabre. See what the club brings. This club reeks of death, and I love it. I've been here quite a few times, but I've never seen anything this breathtaking. Everyone around me is whacked out of their minds, and as they keep dancing madly, the spirits dance beside them. Spectral silhouettes phase in and out of existence, becoming more visible the more intense the music grows. It's looked like a bizarre ritual, a profane mass. I notice it's the voice samples the ghost reacts to the strongest. The most suggestive one caused them to appear distorted, even tormented. And one of the specters. Okay, that's pretty cool. Is it Oblivion that's showing us these specters? View past the veil? Into the Shadowlands, maybe? Let's see. It's as if something was struggling to be born out of the harsh sounds, and the dead were hoping to be reborn alongside it. They're all uneasy, quavering with desire for something far beyond their reach, probably the same as when they were alive. Sometimes the living dancers spot their dead counterparts. It's usually the most manic ones who notice something out of the corner of their eyes for only a split second, but never realize what they've glimpsed. Some apparitions dance to a completely different tune than the rest of us, one only they can hear. Those seems the saddest. The spectacle is eerie. At times it's unbearably melancholic. Above all, it's beautiful. I keep on moving to the rhythm until I reach a trance-like state, and then something even stranger happens. Every now and then, when I brush against someone, a fragmentary vision appears before my eyes. A car burning on the freeway, an outstretched hand in the depths of the sea, a man jumping out of a skyscraper window. Memories of the past? Preventable visions of the future? I have no idea what it means, but I'm strangely eager to find out. Who might you be? A punk girl? Oh, that's some large nails on her shoulders. Cool style, cool, cool, cool. And then there are dancers like her, ones that aren't ghosts, human, or even vampires, but something else altogether. Wow, what can she be if it's not the ghost, not the humans, the kin, or the vampires, the kindred? That's really interesting. This new world is full of mysteries, and I plan to get to the bottom of them all. But for now, I just want to dance. Wow, what a night! And what a view! New York City, wow, wow, wow. Blinking traffic, the people below, smoking cigarettes. This is a view I can do all night long. I watched Times Square from above. It's beautiful. Never thought this play could make me emotional, to be honest, but here I am, feeling deeply moved. Who would have thought? Getting up here was surprisingly easy, all things considered. Took more thought than physical effort. Earlier tonight I started experimenting with this body's limits. I realized I can jump over small buildings and climb steep walls with ease now, and my whole perception of space has shifted. I planned a scenic route across the rooftops. I did my best to avoid attracting attention, just as I was told, stayed in the shadows as much as humanly possible. I spot a drone from afar. For a second I feel uneasy, but I remember what she told me. Machines won't get a clear view of me anymore. Camera footage, photos, it's all glitched out or blurry. And people, that's the clan bane, the weakness. Digital media won't see them as clearly, and they are glitching out of normal footage. Wouldn't take it for granted if I didn't try to catch my reflection early on. I couldn't see my face clearly, not in the mirror, not even in Apollo. My face was like one of Dali's clocks. She told me to keep a low profile regardless. Someone might take note and track you down. I didn't care to elaborate, but it didn't sound encouraging. Suddenly it hits me that I might never be able to see my own face again. I won't even be able to take care of my looks by myself. And what about the long-term psychological effects? And not of anxiety tight in my stomach. Jesus. This is probably just the tip of the iceberg. What else is going to change? Calm down. Wait a second. These past few nights have been the best of my life. For years I was on downward spiral, failing health, no future, a feeling of overwhelming powerlessness. Now everything has been flipped upside down, a total paradigm shift. A bad ending is no longer the only option. I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow. I forgot how that feels. And I'm totally glad for you, because when you're happy, I imagine we're going to be really happy. Julia. Where it used to stand at the mere seconds to midnight, the doomsday clock has been effectively turned off. A cold breeze brushes my cheek. As stupid as it sounds, I choose to read it as the world telling me to chin up. I can bend anyone to my will. I'm capable of superhuman strength. I'm a master of shadows. I can do anything. Tomorrow night I will be introduced to my duties. If everything goes according to plan, I will become a New York City representative of Clan La Sombra. La Sombra. One of the cooler clans, at least for me. Do tell me in the comments if you prefer another clan or if you like La Sombra as much as I do. Whoever they are, whatever that means, I have no idea what to expect. But tonight is tonight, I'm free. All my words from a month ago feels like they belong to someone else. Finally, things are looking up. I guess that's the chapter. March 2020. Back at it again at Big Beat Burger. Familiar sounds, familiar smells, familiar faces. Yet again, I'm recalling that night when everything finally seemed to change for the better. I mean, it's not like I was expecting everything to go back to the old depressing normal. Even in the thick of it, the rational part of me recognized my state as temporary. But with these highs, there's always a hope it won't end. Or maybe that an ego death will finally occur. Be satisfied, you stupid fucking bitch. I command you. Here's all the logical evidence for why you should be satisfied. Here's the obvious direction for your life. And here's a detailed explanation of how you should treat the people that care for you. No dice, I always fall back to the same old habits. It's like they were encoded deep in my DNA. The aimlessness, the powerlessness, the spiritual exhaustion, these goddamn fast food trips. The stupid fucking self-loathing now amplified whenever I drink somebody's blood. Maybe I should just blame it all on the misfortune of my birth. You do this social climbing until you dissociate, and then you're just this untethered, constantly frustrated ball of dumb desire. Except I'm sort of immortal right now. I need to figure out what to do next. I watched this obscure Asian movie once. Eli Lema Sabachani, starring Tadanobu Osano, one of the coolest guys in the world. He plays this Mersbo-like figure, a legendary noise musician. There's this mysterious virus spreading around the world, causing despair and mass suicides. A rich CEO granddaughter gets sick and longs to die, so he spends a fortune searching for the cure. Turns out a son and his friend, played by this Violet Onsen geisha guy, are traveling through Japan, searching the corpse-strewn towns and fields for any unique item that can produce beautiful sounds. As it turns out, the avant-garde walls of noise they create are able to heal the infected. The CEO begs the band to help, offer them all the money they want, but for some reason they refuse. Through a series of flashback, concerts and vignettes, a mystery unfolds. Eventually, we realize that Asano's music is not just a remedy, it's also a cause for the virus. Whenever it connects with people, they get this hunger for more extreme, more novel experiences. And eventually they hit a wall. Nothing can satisfy them anymore. They lose their will to live. Not even the musicians are spared from this curse. They know that the end will come sooner or later. And man, oh man, is that the sun? Why are we seeing the sun? That's weird. The girl is saved by a mind-blowing concert, but the tragedy is merely postponed, not averted. The last shot of a Jesus-like Asano silently considering his role as a savior and destroyer stayed with me. The form of the film is abrasive, little to no narrative coherency. Some weird, cartoonish creative choices, the Japanese noise soundtrack and the very freeform and hard to understand weave of themes. But at this point, movies like this are all that truly connects with me. I'm the New York City representative of the Sombra Clan now, also known as the Night Clan. They are masters of the shadow, who cast distorted reflection and make modern tech go haywire in their presence. Last year, a few months before I was embraced, the La Sombra had joined with Camarilla, the biggest and most traditional sect in the vampire world. The two groups actually used to fight each other, but our leaders found some intel that made them reconsider their strategy, so they sent a diplomatic mission to parley with their historical enemy. The deal they got in Chicago was simple. An unlife for an unlife. For every La Sombra vampire allowed in the Ivory Tower, one La Sombra has to meet their ultimate end. I still remember the name of the woman who met her final death so I could begin my own life. Her name was Hester Reed, a sworn enemy of the Camarilla, a guerrilla fighter who spent decades opposing them. She was someone with far better principle than mine. From what I gathered, well, whoever she was, her execution by my sire served to convince the New York City elites to give us La Sombra a chance. Then they set out to look for mutual agreed upon candidate who would become the clan's rep in the city. My sire served for someone who gave the impression that she was more than she appeared. The local court was looking for someone they could walk all over. After long negotiation, they decided I was a good compromise. They proceeded to systematically destroy my entire life, just to make me show I was psychologically strong enough to join their ranks. The turncoat special, they called it. Somehow I succeeded. And it eventually led me right back to where I started. So I stopped writing and put my pen down. Valerie, hello. Will that be all? Yes, Mr. Wall. I hope you enjoy your stay in London. Oh, I very much doubt I will. Just like every cultured person, I think the only good Englishman is a dead Englishman. Okay, fucked up serial killer, privileged scam, just get the hell out. Okay. Just get the hell out. Privileged? Yeah, he seems like a little privileged, I think. Must be nice, traveling the world and all that. Caracas, Mogadishu, Shanghai, the blood tastes the same anywhere you go. The biggest difference is that your duty becomes more of a hassle. Mr. Wall, every word you utter tonight just made you more punchable. That will be all. Tell Kadir I said hello and farewell. Safe travels. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, psycho. Well. I'm the lone La Sombra in this town, and my representational role means jack shit. No title, no perks, no whatever. Right now, I'm the court's gopher, doing all sorts of work nobody else will touch. My main duties? Being a sort of immigration officer. See, New York City is probably the biggest vampire travel hub in the USA. Definitely the biggest one of the East Coast. Almost every kindred driver from Africa and Europe comes through here. The local Camarilla is nuts about bureaucracy and population control, so every vampire leaving or arriving this town is supposed to check with me to inform me about their travels. Well, in theory at least. The VIP plays to the different rules. They take care of this stuff through connection and servants. But for the smaller fish, I'm like a vampire statue of liberty. The first bloodsucker every kindred coming to New York City should see, on paper anyway. The first after the prince, or Kadir, the primogene consul, this thing vary. Yeah, I'm a naturally traitorous La Sombra, so they still prefer being traditional hand-on about these things. Oh wow! So Valerie, actually, I think we met in the first game, and Kadir is the sheriff of the prince. Let's see if we will meet them in person again in this game. It should be quite interesting to see how Kadir is towards Julia. As I said, at the end of the day, I'm just a gopher, and this work only serves to remind me I'm not quite in, just standing at the gate. They haven't even given me an office, they just meet everyone in public places such as coffee shops or this fast food restaurant. Some consider this an insult and lash out at me, but luckily most of them understand we're in the same boat. Only here because we're curs who needs to be reminded of our place from time to time. Speaking of, my last client is 15 minutes late, and I still have more errands to run tonight. This is getting irritating. To be honest, I should find some self-respect and leave. But I won't. My sorry upbringing left me with this stupid sense of responsibility. 10 more minutes to pass. Eventually, an unfamiliar woman appears by the door. She tells someone to stand by the door and walks in. Wow, who might you be? That's quite mysterious. Handbag, swept shawl around her shoulders, something lacy in front of her face, and green intense eyes. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Long chestnut hair, body stuck in her late teens by the look of it, a fashionable scarf covering most of her face, elegant clothes, dignified walk. I signal her to sit in front of me, trying my best not to let my impatience show. She obliged. Took your time here to check in. Let's just get on with it. Actually, I think we're annoyed that she took her time, so let's go with this. Took you sweet time, eh? One day, it will be a beautiful day. I will learn how to keep all this bitterness in and stop getting in trouble. Sorry, Miss Sowinski, was it? This is not exactly the kind of place we're expected. She's scanning her surroundings like we're at a circus. Hope you won't mind if I take it. Quick, I need it in Elysium. Name? Catherine Weiss. My. For you who actually are in deep into World of Darkness as I am, I know now who she is, and she's really cool, and it's gonna be an honor to meet her and see the dialogue options from now on. My, okay, pretty cool. I swear I've heard that name before. Someone else's description of her crosses my mind. That weird lady who owns the art hole, but is never there. Weird. So it is her, Catherine Weiss, the owner of the art hole, de facto headquarters of the New York City Camarilla. For fuck's sake, Eula, what are you doing calling her weird right off the bat? God knows you already made a fool of yourself in front of enough VIPs in this city. Recover! I'm sorry, it's just that I still don't know many people there, so I have to go by the description given by members of the Primogen. Well, the description is mostly correct, outside of that one word that slightly perplexes me, but pot calling the kettle black sounds like. From what I gather, it's just that your interests are rumored to be not fully aligned with the Camarillas, and it irks some folks up there. Being a keeper of the Elysium is not enough for some. I see. I suspect as much. But what can you do? She seems chill. Good. Anyways, Catherine Weiss. Wow. Yeah, I want me to spell it. People often have trouble getting it right. Forgive my indiscretion. It's just that people of your stature usually don't bother checking in with me. They usually report their arrival to one of the Primogen and they make all their arrangements. Oh man, that's cool. I heard Prince Bernhard is busy with the preparation for her big party. I assume that if I spared her some paperwork, she'd appreciate it as a gesture of goodwill. Besides, I wanted to meet the famous La Sombra representative out of sheer curiosity. My interest peaked once I heard about her. She looks around knowingly. Unique circumstances. Prince Helen Panhard had trouble justifying the exorbitant rent my property would need. That's literal pennies for her, and as far as I know, she's been sitting on empty properties since last year. Looks like they got it out for you. Bad. Yeah, I can imagine La Sombra is not like, super welcome, as she has described in her thoughts. That's what I assume, but it's nice to get the confirmation. Well, it's not like my clan has ever been particularly popular in these parts. At least that's what I heard. Sins of the fathers and so on. Yeah, just to make sure. You never met Hester, but you know of her? I don't know. I wouldn't be here if not for her. Have you two met? I only heard of her once or twice. We had similar outlooks on many issues, although we tended to come up with some completely different solutions. In any case, I think it's meaningful that Hester died so that you could live. They feared her. Now they fear you, and that's why they're keeping you down. If anyone was not on VIP'd said this to me, I'd laugh in their face. Oh, I get what she's doing. She's trying to buy me favors. Best not act like I'm easy to please. Stick to business. Time will tell. In the meantime, I'll need you to help me out with my documentation. Of course. So where are you coming from? Washington, D.C. She says it the way people in Hollywood movies says it. The way that suggests her Washington is wildly different from the Washington you and I would see. What were you doing there? Take a guess. Government work? Write that down. It ought to amuse Helen a little bit. If you say so. Date and hour of arrival? She takes out a plane ticket and slides it towards me. It's all there. 1 a.m. Got it. Method of transit plane. Purpose of visit? Meeting with the prince ought to work just fine. I love the cold attitude she's having, and Julie is actually picking up on. These two will... I would love to see them as friends. I would love to see them as friends. I guess. Estimated duration of visit? Undefined. Write in 6 months if you really need to. Place of accommodation? Condition of intended stay? The are told conditions should be adequate. You tell me, I tend to be happy with the Airbnb, home sweet home. I'm not certain that I ever felt particularly at home here. That makes the two of us. Curious, do you have nothing holding your hair? The face of a blonde-haired friend appears in my mind's eye, then vanish. There's nothing holding me anywhere. I see. A prolonged silence. She stares into my eyes and I return the stare. She's studying me. It's unnerving, but I do my best not to turn away. Eventually, she smiles. Didn't you say we're short on time? Oh god, yes, Kadir will kill me. I quickly begin to collect my stuff from underneath the table. You can simply inform him I paid you a visit. He'll understand. He'll pass it on to everyone who should be in the know. Oh, cool. Need anything else? I'll do that, yeah. You're a big deal, eh? Yeah, I think I will go with this one, because if she's telling Julia that just informing Kadir that I have spoken to Catherine, that should be enough to ignore the fact that you're late, then we want to know why. So you're basically a celebrity around here, eh? Not sure, but then again, celebdom is really easy to achieve in this city. You know what the trick is? If I did, I wouldn't be stuck in the fast food joint, being exactly what people expect you to be. Yeah, still working on that part. Good, we will see each other soon, I hope. The party tomorrow night? I wasn't invited. She gives me a pitying look. I understand. Well, if not given the opportunity, we should make our own. I'll be in touch. Good night, Miss Wise. I wish you had a pleasant stay. Good night, and don't rush these things. You got your whole life ahead of you, and you're in a position where you can take it easy. Take your time, get a different perspective. I nod and walk slowly down out the door. When I lose the sight of the restaurant, I sprint towards the subway. Slow night. Oh, it was Kadir. Okay, slow night. Kadir, I wish you're late again. By the way, I hope you have a good excuse. Kadir al-Asmai, the mighty sheriff of New York City, is not happy with me. No wonder. I met him in front of Elysium 30 minutes later than the time we had agreed on. Yeah, well, Catherine fucking Wise decided to arrive fashionable late. A likely story. She's supposed to be out of the city. You think I'm pulling your leg, boss? Feel free to check my report. I pass him all of the official papers the way I do every other night. Kadir stares me down for a good few seconds, and then his steely gaze softens. You're serious. Why is in McDonald's with a mask and elegant clothes, surrounded by the smell of French fries and hamburger patties? That must have been one hell of a sight. Technically, it was BBB, not McDonald's, but yeah, God, I made such a fool of myself. First thing I did, I quoted somebody calling her a weirdo. I wanted to die on the spot. Serves you right. You walking folks pass. You've been trying to teach you control. I've been trying to teach you to control your tongue, but you never learn. It's a new gaff every week with you. Still, there's a good news and bad news. The good news is Catherine's a fondness for vampires of humble beginnings. Probably why she decided to see you in your, shall we say, natural habitat. Oh God, I love these interactions at the moment. It's really, really cool to see Kadir opening himself up and being, I don't know, a little, if not a douchebag, like in the first game, in the first vampires we met. She's one of the richest art scene assholes who seeks out working class cred. Did say something about watching your tongue. The bad news is she's very astute, so she can recognize a moron like you straight away. You never stood a chance at impressing her. Oh, shut up, you still need me for anything here. I'll get on it straight away. I wouldn't be standing out here chatting with you if I hadn't taken care of my duties. 30 minutes is all it took to finish preparation for the big party. I'm about to see everyone off. Sorry. Could it be helped, I suppose? It's more your loss than mine. I just wanted some company tonight, and you could really use the chance to appear here on official duty so everyone can get to know your face. Havens know your fast food job isn't going to get you anywhere. You need to go what they call it, hustle. You don't need to tell me that, but it's not like being paraded around for a bunch of blue-blooded douchebag is. He somehow managed to give me a painful nudge in the back without so much as a hint of a visible movement. Language, you fool, they're coming out. Just standing here in silence for a few minutes and focus on not embarrassing yourself any further, will you? Got it. The first two silhouettes appear in the doorway at the art hall. An old man in wheelchair, pushed forward by his young servant. Haven't seen either of them before. And who might you be? A little creepy guy. Mr. Payne, that the night is still young. Hope you find the rest of it pleasant. Payne, the wheelchair, I heard about him. Addison Payne, one of the American Camarilla main connection to the government of Wall Street. Disabled in quite a few ways. Needs a servant to communicate. I'd be full of resentment if I was embraced in this condition, but apparently Payne is nothing but grateful for his immortality. He keeps writing fervent defenses of tradition and Camarilla customs. Stay silent, enjoying a stay. Good night. I actually think I will go with Kadir's tips and stay silent, but good night is quite tempting. Yeah, I will be a little forward and do the good night. Good night, Mr. Payne. He wordlessly shakes Kadir's hand, but doesn't even deign to acknowledge me. At least his servants give me a small bow, I return it, they leave. Kadir turns to the next person leaving. High Regent, can't wait to see you in your outfit. Ailing Sturbridge. Spare me, Sheriff. These fancy dress parties caused me enough suffering without your help. I can hope you haven't conspired with Helen to embarrass me with this gift. She points to a shrink-wrapped set of clothes she is carrying inside her coat. Kadir smirks briefly. I didn't have to. As you well know, Prince Panhard displays a considerable foresight in the matter of party planning. Yes, if there's one thing she's deathly serious about, it's frivolities. A recognizable mortal quality, especially for a prince. We ought to celebrate it, not oppose it. Don't worry, Sheriff, I'm a big girl who knows her etiquette. I will play your game, amuse the crowd a little bit, and return to my study as fast as possible. Ailing Sturbridge, High Regent of the Chanter of the Five Boroughs, a hero of the Battle of New York, the biggest warlock in town. Could be a prince herself if she haven't had her eyes on a bigger prize. The thing is, nobody knows what that prize is. They only know it has something to do with the goal of her thaumaturgical research. Whoever tried to find out what it is failed violently. Oh, I'm sure you're going to have fun. Miss Sowinsky here has just informed me Catherine Weiss is back in town. It's safe to assume she will join our festivities. You're kidding me. Sends her regards. She did say we're attending the party. It was her for sure. Yeah, probably go with this one. It's a bit obvious, but yeah. It's not safe to assume, it's certain. She told me she will be here tomorrow night. Wise, excellent. I'd love to catch up with her. A barely concealed venom in her voice clearly suggests that in fact she'd hate to catch up with her. Yeah, it looks like tomorrow night will be very special, but for now I bid you adieu. And she's gone. Is there some kind of story between Ailing and Weiss that you should be aware of? You could say that. High Regent Sturbridge once attempted to call for a blood hunt on Weiss. Wow, why? I've heard 5 different versions of the story and all of them seem plausible. Catherine's relationship with this city is odd, to say the least, but hush for now. He's obviously trying to kill the conversation, and the appearance of Thomas Arturo gives him a perfect way out. Mr. Arturo. Ah, allas my. Keep up the good work, eh? Of course. Thomas Arturo, an architect by trade, he's an herald, a member of Prince Panhard's inner circle, an eccentric whose thoughts seem to be 10 times faster than his words. I'm here to take care of on your way home. Good night. Being a little more pleasant, maybe. Being quiet, as maybe because they are not expecting me to be vocal, but yeah, I think this is the coolest choice. Take care on the way home to your haven, Miss Arturo. Ah, yes. He disappears into the night. Well, that was brief. Maybe I should stand in their way. That might force them to properly acknowledge my existence. You severely underestimate their dedication to ignoring whelps like you. And just in case you're serious, I beg of you, don't. I've been making to ask you this for a while now, but never had the opportunity. You really hate Arturo's guts, don't you? He carefully measures his diplomatic response. I have no strong feelings about Thomas Arturo whatsoever. Yeah, well, considering you're always listing positives about every local Camarilla representative under the moon, you might as well have called him a cunt. Language whelp. And as far for Arturo, I will share my opinions about him as soon as I come up with one that sticks for more than a week. A group of kindred emerge from the archhole, rushing towards the street. All a noble-looking woman stops next to us. She's wearing a hijab, but curiously enough doesn't hide her hair beneath it. Primogen. If you were rude enough to steer, you quickly notice the cloth serves mostly to cover up her horrifying scars. Kadiro, young Julia. Samira, she looks pretty cool. Maybe clan Benu Hakim, maybe? I don't know. Will be interesting to know more about her. I'm doing my best not to stare because Samir is one of the few New York City Camarilla figures who hasn't been an asshole to me yet. Still here? Did the prince require the clan of the Hunt counsel in some matter? Yes, I advise her that no matter how hard she tries, she shouldn't expect me to wear a different costume tomorrow night. She's the Banu Hakim primogen, just like the La Sombra. Their clan was independent from the Camarilla until relatively recently. However, they negotiate a better deal than we did. They have a primogen for one. Hailing from the Middle East, the Banu Hakim are drawn to the practice of justice. The rules must be upheld and every transgression punished. They don't have much to say in New York City, but the prince often seeks their judgment. It's just good PR. I trust she was understanding. Those are beautiful clothes. Thank you so much. I'm eager to see the outfit you came up with. How are you, Julia? Have you seen any lights at the end of the tunnel? Same old, same old. I'm not even invited. Yeah, I've seen one. Might that hint Catherine Weiss? But no, I think I will go. I'm not even invited. They haven't even invited me to the party tomorrow. Sorry to hear that. I trust you pestering the prince and your superiors to improve your standing. It's a process. Oh, Julia, you won't achieve anything if you don't keep reaching for it. Kadir, weren't you supposed to teach her the ropes? I'm trying to, Primogen, but with this child, it's always a process. I can only wish you good luck then. Good night, Julia. Good night, Kadir. Good night. Have a safe trip. The art hole has to be almost empty by now. You like her, don't you? Stop with your class clown act. Well, it only serves to reveal deep insecurities. Wow, that's harsh. It's factual. We're as harsh as you claim. She did tell us both to call her Samira, but you're still keeping your distance with that primogen shit. But your profanity. I don't project your fantasies onto me. I won't give you a lesson about professional boundaries, but I suspect that way you will eventually learn it will be extremely unpleasant. Carter Wonderwade. Am I interrupting something good, folks? Even though I'm constantly pestering him, Kadir's composure isn't shaken. His response comes swift and unfazed. Not at all, Mr. Van der Weyden. Heading back to your office? You know me, my dear sheriff. Where else would I go? Now that's curious. Even though Carter Wanderer is a premier as well, McCabe. To be precise, I don't hear Kadir address him as such. Hope to see you tomorrow night. Oh, I will absolutely show up, provided I can, but just in case, I'll order apologize for not making it to the prince. Simply drowning in these days. The tempo, the intonation pattern of his voice are so familiar. Half of it sounds like JFK, the other half exactly like Barack Obama. Just like his appearance, it all feels so fake. His old money, of course, come from a long line of Dutch merchants who originally settled in the New York region. Runs a wildly successful law office, rubs elbow with the leads of both kindred and kind varieties alike. He seems perfect in every way. That's why he's so unnerving. He's a child of Malkav and must be blighted with some affliction. But whatever it is, he doesn't let it show. Hard not to wonder what he's hiding. The celebration is planned to last all weeks. Surely you'll find the time? I pray I will, my good man. I pray I will. In case you need to reach me, you know where to find me. Have a good one. It doesn't even register my presence before leaving. Sometimes I think they're all still hoping I will simply go away. As Carter drives away in his limousine, Kadir shakes his head. You want to hear about which member of New York City Camarilla I dislike the most? Yes? He shoots me a knowing glance and smirks. Too bad. They're all my dear colleagues, and I deeply respect every single one of them. So you do. Wouldn't want to blur out something like that could lock you out of Miss Walderweiden's legal service, would you? You ask, yes, sir? I'd expect to find myself in need of a good defense attorney when my broke, incompetent, foul-mouthed assistant finally pushes me over the edge. Oh, nice. Okay. Rude. Do you still need me here? I still need to swing by St. Patrick's tonight. Don't worry, we're almost done. The prince is coming out. The captain is the last person to leave the ship, eh? And there she is, Helen Panhard, the big kahuna, as someone I once knew would call her. The de facto ruler of New York City and a self-professed patron of the arts. Kadir, a penny for your thoughts? You should be pleased to hear the High Regent is resigned to her fate, my prince. Mr. van der Weyden is decidedly not. I suspect he will be too busy to join the festivities all the week through. Excellent, she turns to me. So, Miss Sowinski, weren't you supposed to accompany our good sheriff in his duties tonight? There was an unexpected change of plans. Catherine Weiss is back in the city. Catherine is here? Now that's a welcome surprise, but what does that have to do with you, Miss Sowinski? I took care of her paperwork. She wanted to amuse herself. Could you know? Yeah, just explain herself. Try to get in the good favors. She said she didn't want to trouble you with all the paperwork regarding her arrival, Prince Panhard. It's all been taken care of. Kadir already been informed of everything. That's certainly a nice gesture, but wait a minute now. Where exactly did you meet her? In a fast food restaurant, my prince. I see. Helen rubs her eyes. Catherine, her love for proletarian amusement. I suppose it would be a sort of amusing anecdote this week. If you want to avoid this situation in the future, it might be a good time to discuss offering Miss Sowinski an office of her own. That would be a really good gesture. We'll get to it eventually. There are more pressing matters at hand. The festivities start tomorrow, and there's still so much to be done. Will you make sure the art hall is secure before leaving? Certainly, my prince. Have a good night. Good night, Kadir. Good night, Miss Sowinski. We'll talk about your work soon, don't worry. Of course, good night, Prince Panhard. The chauffeur escorts her to a limo. There's an awkward silence between me and Kadir until the car disappears around the corner. More pressing matters? A penny for your thoughts, Sheriff? I'm certain an image of a keeper of an asylum stuck in a fast food restaurant will linger in Panhard's mind. You're far closer to your goal than you were a few minutes ago. I'm pretty sure I've heard you say something to that effect a few times now. And I stand by my words. Rome wasn't built in a day, Julia. As a Camarilla loyalist, don't you think it sucks that the Ivory Tower is so hell-bent on showing this respect to my clan? They're actually willing to make fools of themselves in the process. We're all had to endure our own hazing rituals, but yes, the current situation is not ideal. Whatever. You need a hand closing up the asylum? Elysium? I'll manage. It's getting late. Better run. Some shadow in Chicago is probably impatient to get a copy of the reports you're giving me. You please one master, now it's time to please the other. Yeah, there's the thing about working for two masters. Neither of them really thinks you are their own. Really thinks of you as their own. Not knowing how to reply, Kadir shrugs. I wave him goodbye and head for the subway. When I reach St. Patrick's Cathedral, I'm greeted by a voice that grates on me like teeth on tinfoil. Benoit. Well, the prodigal daughter returns. Oh my God, no. This is the one thing I didn't want to happen. Julia, please, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Where's Father Leonard? his clergy duties keeping him from getting here in time. He sent me to apologize in his name and keep you company for a few minutes. That's the second thing he wants to apologize for. He just wants his flock to live in unity. I'm more than willing to oblige him. Why won't you? For the last time, I'm not part of his flock. We have a purely professional arrangement. I know you see it that way. The Knights clan tendency to stick close to the Catholic Church is their greatest virtue, but they still consider their relationship purely instrumental. This is why you need kindred like you to bring the spirit of change to your clan, to make them understand God's precious gifts. The closer they get to the light, the greater the shadow would become. And I actually think that's a good place to end for tonight. Maybe not an optional place, but a good place. And thank you for watching. And if you liked what you saw, press the like button and maybe subscribe and comment if you have anything to interject, or if you have made other choices that I didn't do. And thank you for watching.